Everybody. Coach Allison back, and we have week 19 for Defy Aging. We also have a new warm up and a new cool down this week, so be prepared to be reviewing that with your coaches. And as many of you know, the new warm up and the new cool down weeks take a little bit longer because this is some new stuff to go over. So be prepared for that, and that will be for May and June. So yeah, a couple weeks of some new stuff. So let's review what this week's workout is going to look like. So it's going to be an in your own space routine and at your own pace. So no interval times. You're going to have to be counting your own reps. I know some of us don't love that. The reps are different for each exercise. Most things are 12. Most things are 12, not everything. There's 6 exercises. We're going to set a 25-minute max for this. So you're going to be going through these 6 exercises for 25 minutes, just getting as many rounds as you get. It's not a race to get as many rounds as you can, so still be doing the movements slowly with control, good form, and all of that, not trying to race the clock or anything. All right, that being said, let's review what these 6 exercises are this week. Okay, the first one is an alternating reverse overhead press. So by that, what I mean is, well, we're alternating arms, so that's straightforward. But the reverse is that we are starting in the up position and we're alternating the lowering part. So that's what the reverse overhead press means. So typically an alternating press would be starting down here and we alternate pressing one arm at a time, right? That's kind of more standard. But again, starting from scratch here, we're going to start in the up position, hold it here, and we are kind of reversing the norm. So this is tricky because we're holding one arm in the contracted position instead of more in the rested position. So a couple things to note here. Make sure we're not like kind of leaning back when we're doing this, okay? So that's very important. Don't have an overly arched back like this. So you got to keep those core muscles tight, kind of tuck in the pelvis like I just did there. I'm going to put my weights down because it's just to be more. I'm also going to turn my camera so the white wall is behind me. I think that's better because I have a black shirt on so you can see my body position better. Yeah. So those things again, when your arms are up, make sure we're not leaning back. Okay. So if your weights are too heavy and you can't control it well enough with your shoulder strength, you might be compensating by trying to lean back. So make sure you have an adequate weight. And also, we're not overarching that back. See how I kind of pop my hips out and I'm overly arching my back? So that's, believe it or not, that's a core strength thing. Core is all of this. Core isn't just abs. So, although I'm going to mention the abs now. So engage those ab muscles. If you're having this overly arched back here, engage these ab muscles, tuck your pelvis forward. Watch me fix this problem. I tucked my pelvis forward, pulled my belly in, and now I eliminated that overly arched back. So that's all important stuff when you're doing anything overhead, okay? So I'm just not gonna pick up my weights. Anyway, that is our alternating reverse overhead press. It's gonna be 10 reps on each side. So you can count them 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, and so on. Next is a kneeling bicep curl. It's just what it sounds like. Okay, we're in a tall kneeling position, so I'm up tall like this, and just as opposed to kneeling and sitting back on your heels like this. Same, really, a lot of the same cues as I just said with the overhead press. Even though our arms aren't over our head, still don't want to lean back like this, and still don't want to have like an overly arched back. So we don't want to. So we don't want to lean. We don't want to lean like this, and we don't want to have an overly arched back. So those are similar things, but differences. So we don't want either one of those happening. And then we're going to do bicep curls. We're going to curl both arms at the same time here. Okay? This is my favorite kind of curl. I like to turn my palms in at the bottom and then palms up at the top like this, towards you at the top like this. We want to avoid swinging the arms. So notice at the bottom, I'm doing a dead stop at the bottom. So that's keeping control as opposed to kind of letting them swing. So try to avoid that as well. All right. Anyone avoiding use a mat because the floor is a little hard. But anyone avoiding kneeling on the floor, simply take it up to a seat, to a bench or a box, and we're gonna do this on a box doing seated curls. That's the only change there. Okay. Next up is a low plank toe tap. And I forgot to mention previously the bicep curls is for 12. Backtrack into that one. Bicep curls is for 12. This is also going to be for 12, but it's going to be 12 each foot, 12 each side. So low plank refers to being on the forearms instead of the hands. So coming down to your forearms in a low plank. Okay, want good form here. So we want your back to be pretty level, meaning not steepled up like this. So that's one thing. And we tap the toes out to the side, alternating sides. So we count it 1, 1, 2, 2, and so on. Want to make sure, again, we're not like way up here with the hips though. Now there is a progression here. So a way to make it harder, if you feel like you're at a more advanced level, you can take it to a plank jack as opposed to a plank toe tap. And then the count will be 12 total. It is, like I said, it's more advanced, but so that is jumping the feet out. But it's really easy to start to come up here, like my butt just went up like that. So that's what we don't want to do with the hips coming way up. So still want to keep those hips down. But again, that's a progression. That's not required, it's only if you really feel like you are at that level. So give it a try if you'd like. There is not a knee option for a plank toe tap. You would think you could kind of tap the knees out, like if you're in a knee plank, but it's like, it's not comfortable on the knees. It makes you have to like turn. It really just is icky and it doesn't work. So knee planks are totally fine in general, but for this type of thing, there's really not a great option. So an alternative is coming up to an incline instead. So we'll have some boxes around or benches. So do your plank on a box and we'll do our toe taps on an incline. Again, we don't want hips up here, so we're not looking for this. We need that diagonal body position for it to be a core exercise. Okay, so that is our plank toe tap. All right, next station is a single leg glute bridge with a knee tuck. Isometric single leg glute bridge plus knee tuck. All right, so that's a long name. This is a floor exercise. You're lying on your back. So one leg, I'm gonna use my right leg to do my isometric single leg glute bridge. So glute bridges are like the hip lifts like this, right? Isometric is a holding exercise. So I'm gonna use my right leg to do the holding glute bridge. So this leg you can kind of see, right? I'm lifting up my hips and I'm holding. Now with my other leg, I'm gonna do a knee tuck. So I'm gonna extend out and pull the knee in, tucking the knee in, out and in. Out. So you can put these arms on the floor. I don't know why I had them on the hips. It's better on the floor. Okay, so I'm showing it from the other side, so maybe that helps get a different view. So I'm going to lift my hips, turn into the single leg. Now this leg is holding my hips up. Other leg is tucking the knee in, stretching the leg out. Tuck in, stretch out. So I'm not resting this leg on the floor, ever. This leg is staying off the floor. I'm just stretching it out. In, out. The whole time, though, this leg is holding my hips up. So this side is getting very fatigued. Okay? So you can do all 12 reps on one side, well, that obviously, and then all 12 on the other. You can rest between sides, though, if you want to put your butt down and take a quick rest. For anyone staying off the floor, we're going to turn this into a step up with a high knee. Very different exercise. I mean, obviously, but because a step up, yes, it works your thigh a little bit, but it does, if you push through primarily the ball of your foot and your heel when you're stepping up, like I know you couldn't see it, but it loses a lot of glute and then high knee. So then we're going to do that same knee lift. So that same kind of pulling in. So as you were doing on the floor, people on the floor were doing, so you're still using that hip flexor of that leg to bring that knee in. So it is going to be relatively similar muscles being used. So bring that knee up, come down, Actually, I'm going to have you leave the foot here so that we stay in this position here. So knee up, down to the floor, right back up, down to the floor. If you want to be near something to hold on to for a little bit of balance, I'm totally out of the frame here. Jeez. Show you the other side if that helps. Now I'm going to leave this leg here, knee up, down to the floor, knee up, down to the floor. Okay. So that'll be the alternative for anyone not doing our floor exercises. All right, next up is a bottoms up goblet squat. Last week we had a traditional goblet squat, which is kind of the traditional hold for a goblet to anything. We're going to do bottoms up this time. So you'll want to pick your kettlebell up like this. And now we're going to hold the kettlebell, the bell up. Otherwise, everything's the same as our squats last week. We just are holding our kettlebell differently. So normal squat stance, we're not doing wide or narrow or anything out of the ordinary there. So feet are hip width apart, sink those hips down and back. You have a little forward lean, but not enough to where your chest is facing down. Okay. So yeah, nothing else to give you on that one. Make sure the kettlebell is not actually physically touching your body. So you're not resting that kettlebell on your body. It should be, 1 or 2 inches out. Yeah, bottoms up, goblet squat. And I keep forgetting to give you the reps. That one's for 12 as well. The goblet squats. Okay. The sixth and final exercise in your own space workout is this one. Is kind of deviates from the in your own space because you will be walking around. It's a single arm farmer's carry. For those of you who have been with us for a while, we've done these quite a bit. You'll use something maybe a little heavier. I'm using the same weight I had for my goblet squat because it's just the one I had in my hand. But you can go pretty heavy on this, and I want you to go pretty heavy. That's the point of a farmer's carry, because in our daily lives, sometimes we have to carry heavy things, and you want to be prepared for that. Maybe someone's not around to help you carry something heavy from your car into your home, or from the store out to your car, or whatever the situation might be. So let's prepare for that. Okay, so pick a kettlebell, and we're in a nice controlled environment. So in this situation, so pick a kettlebell that's challenging, that might kind of scare you a little bit. Okay. And the great thing about farmers carries also is that we're not rowing it. We're not pressing it over the head. We're not curling it. It's a great opportunity also to try those heavy weights because we're not doing any of that extra stuff with it. We're just holding it and walking with it. So now's a great time to challenge your body with that heavy weight. Okay. So I don't want you to be afraid of that heavier weight. All right, so that said, pick your challenging weight. Pick up, if it'll be starting on the floor, so pick it up safely. Bend those knees to pick it up. Don't just reach down like with poor form. Pick it up safely with that side. Take your shoulder kind of down and back. I'm going to get a little closer to you to kind of show you. Take your shoulder down and back to find that good form first. See how I kind of took, this might just be sloppy, not thinking about it form. But now I'm going to think about it. I'm going to take my shoulder up, down, and back. Now I locked that shoulder blade in. Okay, shoulder is kind of square here, so I'm not letting this side dip, but I'm also not overcompensating and overly shrugging it. Okay? And then we're doing 1 lap on each arm. So wherever your home base is, your coach might have a designated spot where when you are at the farmer's carry, you can go over to that spot. Or maybe wherever you're at, you stay there, start there, make a lap around your turf, and come back to your home spot. Every gym's a little different. So wherever you're going to have your farmer's carry space be. Anyway, slow and controlled walk. You can, don't be too rigid. You don't have to be super rigid like you can't move, but you also don't want to be too loosey-goosey. So just contracted, controlled, but without being robotic. We're not robots, right? And again, whatever speed works for you. We're not going slow motion. So the goal isn't to go like you're on, like you're in slow motion. We're also not speed walking. So a nice controlled pace. Yeah. Do 1 full lap with one arm, 1 full lap with the other arm, and that is your single arm farmer's carry. All right, and our team builder, after all of that, is a wall sit challenge. We did this a few weeks ago, I think. I guess I'm not feeling very creative today. I don't know, but no, it's a good one. wall sit challenge. So everyone's going to find some open wall. Everyone's going to start at the same time. Step your feet out before you sink into your wall sit. Then slide down until it's at a challenging level for you. If you're too high up here, you're not feeling too much thigh. You can hold here all day. So the goal is to work towards getting about a 90-degree bend in your knees, right? So this is about 90. If you go lower than 90, that's too much. So, but work towards getting close to that 90. If you're close, that's great. Work towards maybe going that extra inch down. And you can rest your hands on your thighs if you want, but you can't like brace like this, okay? Full back against the wall, so we're not leaning forward on the thighs. That's also bracing. And you just hold it here as long as you can. My mom watches this because my parents do Defy too. Mama, what were you up to? Were you up to 2 minutes? Did it get that high? I know you were past a minute in like 40. So I'm saying my mom is 73. Yeah, that's not July yet. And she hit like darn near 2 minutes. So we're gonna applaud for my mom. But anyway, so if anyone out there wants to try to beat my mom, go for it. Anyways, we're gonna do a little challenge here. So throughout the week, you can try to beat your own time if you repeat Defy throughout the week, and also to have a friendly competition with your fellow Defiers in your session and see who can hold it the longest throughout the week as well. Have fun with it. Alrighty, that is week 19. Hope everyone enjoys the workout, of course, but also enjoys the new warm-up and new cool-down. Couple of new moves, I think, also some repeats. But anyways, see you back next week for week 20, and week 20 will be mobility week. So looking forward to that.